Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Roman Reigns is officially back on Monday Night Raw following a month-long absence. And by default, it led to an unexpected reunion after nearly a year apart. This week on Raw, the main event saw a rematch from WrestlePalooza, with the USOs facing Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Unlike WrestlePalooza, there was no special guest referee for this bout. However, due to the Tornado Tag Team match stipulation, there was no DQ, and Roman Reigns came back to help the USOs pick up the victory by using a steel chair to take out Breaker and Reed. In doing so, Roman Reigns officially reunited as the Bloodline with the USOs after nearly a full year. They were last together during Survivor Series, War Games season, and the trio haven't been together since then. However, things have changed, and the reunion might not last very long, and it may also not be that effective. Jimmy Uso has been warning Jay that he has shown tribal chief-like traits and told Jay that he was losing himself and trying to become another version of Reigns. However, Roman Reigns only reinforced this behavior from Jey Uso, telling him that Raw was his show and to F them in response to anyone telling him otherwise. It was clear as day that Jimmy Uso was not happy listening to this, as he has been calling Jey out for a while now, even earlier on this same episode. Jey took a shot at Jimmy by telling him that he wouldn't know anything about becoming a world champion. Overall, Jimmy Uso seems to be the only voice of reason, but Reigns' arrival and affirmation may have completely ruined that. Jimmy stated before that Jey Uso is totally in his own head, and that's why he is acting the way he is. In the world of WWE, surprises are the heartbeat that keeps fans glued to their screens week after week. RAW has always been the stage for shocking returns, emotional confrontations, and unforgettable reunions. But what unfolded after Roman Reigns' highly anticipated comeback shook the wrestling world to its core. A reunion nearly 1 year in the making finally happened, and it left fans both in the arena and at home buzzing with excitement. Roman Reigns' triumphant return for months. Speculation surrounded Roman Reigns' status. His absence had left a noticeable void in WWE programming, especially with the Bloodline storyline reaching new heights without him. Rumors swirled about injuries, creative plans, and whether WWE was saving his comeback for a massive premium live event. However, Raw became the unexpected platform for his long-awaited return when Reigns' iconic music hit. The reaction was deafening. The arena erupted into chaos, with fans on their feet chanting his name. Cameras panned across the crowd, showing emotional reactions from adults and kids alike. This was more than just a superstar walking back through the curtain. It was the return of WWE's most dominant force. Reigns looked as commanding as ever, wearing his trademark confidence along with the aura that has defined him since embracing his tribal chief persona. Microphone in hand, he addressed the WWE Universe, reminding them that whether he's here or away, WWE is his yard. But before long, the moment took a shocking turn that set the stage for a historic reunion. The long-awaited reunion as Reigns stood in the ring. The lights dimmed, and the crowd immediately sensed something big was about to happen. The familiar entrance of Seth Rollins hit, and the crowd erupted once again. Rollins, the ever-charismatic and unpredictable visionary, made his way down the ramp with a sly grin on his face. Fans instantly knew what might be coming next. Could this be the reunion they've been waiting nearly a year for? But WWE wasn't done yet. Before Rollins could even speak, another theme song blared through the arena. Dean Ambrose's, or, as WWE fans still chant, Mox. The building shook as the former Shield brother returned to WWE programming for the first time in years. Nearly 12 months after the last time these three were seen together in any capacity. The band was back on the same stage, The Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose were standing in the same ring once again. The visual alone was enough to give longtime fans chills. The Shield was one of the most dominant factions in WWE history, and seeing them back together after nearly a year apart, with each member having taken drastically different paths, felt surreal. The story behind this reunion didn't happen by accident. We Creative had been planting seeds for weeks, hinting at a major development once Reigns returned. The Bloodline's growing tensions, Rollins' ongoing battles for supremacy, and speculation around Ambrose's possible involvement in future WWE storylines had set the stage perfectly. The Shield's last on-screen moment had been filled with uncertainty. Each man was focused on his own journey, and personal rivalries often drove them apart. But with the company facing some of its fiercest competition in years and the Bloodline wreaking havoc across WWE, it seemed like the perfect time for the Shield to put aside their differences and unite once again. Fans erupted into "This is awesome" chants as the three men shared the ring. Rollins and Ambrose exchanged knowing glances with Reigns before the unmistakable fist bump, the symbol of their brotherhood, brought the arena to a fever pitch. After nearly a year apart, the Shield was back. The impact on WWE storylines this reunion is more than nostalgia. It has massive implications for WWE's immediate future. The Bloodline conflict with Roman Reigns back. Fans wondered whether he would still align himself with the Bloodline or carve a new path. The Shield reunion suggests that Reigns might be ready to distance himself from his family's faction and instead return to his roots. A Shield versus Bloodline feud writes itself, and it could easily become one of WWE's biggest storylines of the year. Seth Rollins. Championship reign. Rollins has been at the center of WWE programming with his World Heavyweight Championship reign. Aligning with Reigns and Ambrose strengthens his position, but also raises questions about loyalty. Can the egos of three world-class athletes coexist once again, or will championship gold drive a wedge between them? Dean Ambrose's shocking return. Ambrose's return to WWE alone would have been headline-worthy. His presence brings unpredictability to the story, as fans know his character thrives on chaos. Will he remain loyal to his Shield brothers, or will old rivalries resurface at the worst possible time? The crowd's reaction. The WWE Universe thrives on moments that blend history with surprise. And this reunion delivered exactly that. Chants of Shield, Shield, Shield filled the arena as the three men stood shoulder to shoulder once again. Social media lit up instantly, with millions of posts across X, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Clips of the reunion spread like wildfire, cementing this as one of the most replayed Raw moments in recent history. Fans in attendance described the atmosphere as electric, noting that the roar when Ambrose appeared rivaled some of the loudest pops of the past decade. It wasn't just about three men coming together. It was about the history, the brotherhood, and the acknowledgement that wrestling is at its best when it surprises you. Potential. Feuds and matches with the Shield reunited. Speculation immediately turned to what matches WWE could book. Possibilities include the Shield versus the Bloodline in a six-man tag team war that could headline Survivor Series or WrestleMania, a shocking fatal four-way match down the line if the Shield implodes over championship opportunities. The Shield versus Judgment Day. As both groups represent dominance and chaos within WWE, the possibilities are endless. And that unpredictability is what makes this reunion so exciting. The emotional connection for longtime fans. The Shield represents more than just a faction. They symbolize the rise of a new generation in WWE, from their debut in 2012, where they tore through the roster, to their individual championship reigns. These three men have defined the modern era of wrestling, seeing them back together after nearly A Year Apart isn't just about storyline. It's about emotion. Fans who grew up watching their dominance now get to relive a piece of that magic. It taps into nostalgia while also promising fresh storytelling. As Raw went off the air, the image of the Shield standing united once again sent shockwaves across the wrestling world. Questions remain about whether this alliance will last or if it's a temporary truce before egos and ambitions get in the way. But one thing is clear: WWE has reignited one of the most powerful stories in its history. With Roman Reigns back, Seth Rollins in his prime, and Dean Ambrose adding a spark of unpredictability, RAW has entered a new era. The Shield reunion after nearly a year apart is proof that in WWE, anything can happen, and when it does, it reminds fans why they fell in love with wrestling in the first place. This moment will be talked about for years, replayed in highlight packages, and remembered as the night Raw delivered one of its greatest surprises ever. For the WWE Universe, the wait was long, but the payoff was worth every second.